All right, guys, welcome to episode 4 of the List to Survive podcast, your raw, uncensored real estate podcast in the city of Ottawa. Today, a little bit different of a setup. We are in Landlord's studio. We got Mason behind the camera here, always producing for us. Appreciate it, buddy. And today we have me and the one and only Rookie of the Year of the Agency Ottawa. So mixing it up today, just me and Mike are going to have a 12-month wrap-up on everything real estate related, ups and downs of 12 months as a first-time real estate agent, and everything in between. So I'll open it like this by stating that we had a lot of ups and downs. Started off with a lot of ups. Midway through the year, let's say things got a little bit turbulent, to say the least. But at the end of the year, you still managed to claim Rookie of the Year, which for people watching, Rookie of the Year is offered once in a career. So Royal Page, Remax, Sutton, all the big brokerages have it. And Mike was lucky enough to win that this year. So
lucky.
I'll congratulate you on it because I missed out on it.
Thanks.
All my real estate friends missed out on it. And it's probably the hardest award to win. I think mainly because it's your first year. Everything's new. There's no playbook. Yeah. There's no one guiding you. You're by yourself. Even though you have Max, Irene, and me and some support system, it's not exactly the easiest. But what was your biggest takeaway in 2023 as a first-time real estate agent?
I mean, it's a bit of a shit show when you start. You're trying to figure everything out. Like if I was on my own, I'd be fucking terrified. Luckily, I have you, and thankfully I have Max and Irina. Like they're great people, great owners, and I've gotten close with them. So it makes things a lot easier. Our office is one of a kind, I think, like especially at the agency.
Agreed.
It's a huge, huge family. Like you're collabing with people that you normally wouldn't elsewhere. I don't know because I've never been elsewhere, but from other people's opinions. It's a special place. I think doing it here makes it a lot more special. Winning an award at a brokerage like this where everyone gives a fuck, it's pretty cool.
I want to interject. Did you ever think first year you'd have an actual piece of hardware that says Rookie of the Year? Like when you started this, you're probably like, yeah, we're going to have a killer year. We'll have fun in the process. But did you ever think you would have an actual plaque?
Yeah, I knew it was a lock before. No, I'm kidding. You never know. Like I think people that sign up for this and they get into the industry, like you think it's a certain way and you watch the shows and blah, 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 blah. It has nothing to do with that. You're running a business. Like even though it's not a storefront, you're running a business. So without you, I think like it expedited that process, sped it up. I probably talk to you 3-4 hours a day. Like Haley even mentions it. Like it's pretty severe.
Yeah, no joke. If you're watching this, I think I would love to know the air count.
Yeah.
Thank God it's an unlimited plan, but you're probably averaging Monday to Friday, 2 or 3 hours a day.
Yeah, like it's a lot.
And that's without the in-person.
Yeah. So it helps. I mean, and then also like being able to call Max and Irina, who are like top of the top.
The head honchos.
It helps a lot too, right? So, I mean, you're not on your own.
But do you think that was like a fast track? The fact that you maybe have access to like, quote unquote, the condo king doesn't sell anymore, but the guy once upon a time was, in my opinion, I'm biased, but that guy was the top dog for sure.
He still is, like, huge presence, right? As Irina is,
do you
too.
think that, like, expedited?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're asking someone that's dominated the industry, and so is Irina, like, whatever the hell you want at any point. I could call him. Like, it's very rare to have that. And I think we've gotten really close. I've gotten close with them, like, closer than, I think I ever imagined, which is pretty special. So being able to ask them whatever at any point, I think is pretty special. And yeah, it expedited the whole process for sure. Because, like, you can literally ask them anything. Like you don't have to feel like an idiot because like they're the easiest going people, but they've also dominated the industry. So it's quite unique.
Still do dominate, just in a different.
Yeah. So it's pretty special. And then you too, like I talk to you all the time. You do extremely well. You had your award this year, the Pinnacle Award. So like that's pretty big as well. Like you had a big year. But yeah, I didn't think I'd win anything, man. You're coming into this, you don't know anything. You don't know if you're going to do a sale, no sales. Like I had a huge year, thanks to a lot of people that trusted, and none of them like not really like friends or anything, but it's just people trust it, and it feels good.
What's ironic about that award is obviously all the deals you've done and the clients you've worked with. Every single deal you did and every single transaction you completed was outside your sphere of friends. Yeah. So you completed a business that is not only hard to do, but in a very tough economy, and let's put it bluntly, a very shit time.
Yeah.
And you did it without zero support of any friends, which is absurd because I'd say 80% of my business is referral based or future client. Like, you know what I mean? Like I have a good sphere of people that thankfully support me, but you did it solely on open house leads, the cold calling, like the actual grunt work that you do that I myself don't do at times that I should be doing. So it's cool to see someone come in fresh, bang out the open house every week and convert. Like you've converted more open house leads in a single year than I've done in a whole career. So that's 8 years of open houses. You've converted more in 12 months than I did in one. Think about that.
I think too, though,
8 years,
like
man.
Coming into the industry, I knew I wasn't going to have a lot of business right off the bat from my sphere. I mean, there's a lot of realtors.
Does it make you upset though? How like you
a little bit, but I mean, things are the way they are, so you find business elsewhere, right? Like I'm an easygoing person, and like doing open houses turns me on. It gets me going. It's something that I love to do. I know
you love that.
You're meeting people. A lot of people shy away from it. I excel in it just because like I'm easy to talk to, and right off the bat, like I mean, people pick up on that stuff. Like I also had a lot of things to tweak along the way. Irina helped a lot in that sense where she'd like tweak some stuff for my open houses, as did Max, as did you, right? But something like that I thrive in, I think, and I like a lot, where a lot of people shy away from. But in regards, and in regards to like the sphere of friends, like they still all support me just because they don't buy it. But I mean,
maybe I should word that properly. But like, maybe the transaction amount, wasn't you know what I mean? Like
another thing too is like I came into the industry a little later. I'm 30 now. You know, a lot of like my friends, you know, they've bought and sold earlier when there's other realtors around. So like I don't blame anyone or myself for that. It's also what it is.
Time in the market, like if you entered in 2023 versus entering in 2020, I can almost guarantee you, if you started real estate in 2020, a friend, a colleague, a mom and dad, an aunt, uncle, they probably bought something just because money was so cheap. Now you're like learning the proper way. Like which I like. I could argue starting real estate in 2020 and 2021, you were cutting every corner. I myself, 8 years, how many corners I probably cut, and I'm not sense of doing deals for clients, same stuff, but like not doing the open houses, not doing the marketing, not doing content like this, what we're doing right now. So it changes, right? But I think you can't keep going up and up and up forever. Like I think it's good for the market, but also good for real estate agents.
Yeah. And I think
you got to work, man. I think people getting lazy. Like how many deals, sorry to interject, how many deals you done this year where you're like, this agent has no idea what the fuck they're doing?
A lot. And I think too.
But that's a problem.
Yeah. But I like, how long will they stay, right? People come in and out of industries all the time.
True.
And this is the cool, flashy industry until someone gets in it and they realize like, fuck, this costs a lot of money and it's hard to sell and it's hard to close and the economy is tough. So I feel like a lot of people come in, they get a little lucky and they leave, right? It's a long game. It's the same as buying real estate. You're not in for a couple of years to make $1 million, you know?
No. But like you mentioned the money aspect. When you started, did you know how expensive it was to hold a license, to market, to actually list the property? Like, did you know the costs associated with that? Like you probably had an idea. No.
Yeah, exactly. And I think too, like a lot of people probably didn't sell much because there's that stat, right? That like 90% of the deals are done by like, or whatever, something like that. We said it
last time. It's like, we're paraphrasing obviously, but like, I think it was like 80% of the agents or 5% of the agents do like 95% of the business. It's something weird like that.
So you got to think too, the majority of those agents are probably doing 3 to 5, but then there's a lot of them that do 0, AKA you're fucked. How are you going to pay for all that stuff?
They're part-time agents.
Yeah, but you're paying to be there, right? So if you're not producing, it can take a toll on you. It's depressing, it's stressful for sure. But if you trust it and you have the right people around you, and I mean, I think we're fortunate, like we have a great friendship and it just gelled and then tied into like Max and Irina, like it's something special, which is like very 100%. Unique. But the majority of people are flying solo and like, it's fucking hard. Right? Because there's a lot of times where like I fucking panicked and like without you, I'm sure I would have went off the rails. So I'm ironically thankful for that.
I think for the people watching, I think 6 months in, Mike called me and he was debating. You weren't going to jump ship.
No, but I was going to get a part-time job.
Mike was going to go back. Yeah, that was scary. But that's the nature of the business, right? Like, to be transparent, I don't think we did a deal for the first 3 months. So from Jan 1st to mid-March, we were in the office every single day trying to do the old things that made us successful, or at least that I thought would work, and nothing was working. And for then it unclogged. But how many agents do you think do what we did, don't get a deal or two or even a rental, and they're like, I'm done?
For me too, right?
Mentally, it's tough.
You come into an industry the first time, you don't know much about fucking anything, right? And the rates are up through the roof. So that plays a huge role as to why people aren't moving at the time. So for me, I'm like, what the fuck is going on,
Yeah.
right? Trying to figure it out. Max is always coming in, keep doing it, you're doing it. But I'm like, fuck, did I make a mistake? So yeah, it's stressful. I'm sure a lot of people, I'd like to see the numbers of the people that came in, panicked, realized like it's not like a show on Netflix, and hit the road. True. Right.
So do you think like the Netflix shows like
I think personally it's played a part into people joining up, whether it's here, wherever, anywhere in the world. It seems cool and flashy, and it is. Yeah. But they don't show the fucking hard shit that you have to do in the back. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of admin, it's a lot of ups and downs, ebbs and flows, and it's a lot of stress. Like I fucking great beer now. You know, like
people think it's like an easy cash cow business where you come in and make a boatload of money and the return's great, but like I think Max said it best is like, yeah, it's lucrative and we get compensated relatively well for what we do. But there's a lot of people that wouldn't do it because you're 24/7, 7 days a week.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
All the time.
I wish Scaff was here, like George. I was in Montreal with a laptop in the middle of the restaurant trying to counter a deal. How many people are be willing to do that? And like, thank God I have like cool friends and like he was all right with it. But like, who the hell is going to bring their laptop to a dinner for your boy's 30th? And start banging out deals at the table. Thankfully, they understand like this is how we eat and live. But like, who's doing that? Trying to toot my own horn or your horn, but people always complain like that narrative, like real estate agents make too much. But Max, I think, said it best in the sense that you're investing in a stranger's home. But I'm not investing only in my money, which is a big part of it, but it's like my time, my effort.
Time you're never
family
gonna get
time,
back, right?
Yeah.
And for things that may not even work out. It's the nature of the business. Now, when I first came into the industry too,
I was gonna say for you, when you came in, you probably didn't think
no, right? And also I think like
8 to 4, 7 to 3,
you
whatever.
better love the job and love what you're doing to do
100%.
that. But also I think you were biased because you've been a part of the agency. I haven't. And I trust you, so I took your word until I went to the forum and I've been around these people. Like it's something special. So I think if you love where you work and it's an amazing atmosphere, but you also love the job, who gives a fuck?
Best
if you're
job
working
I ever had.
Literally, best job. If you're
Where's that from again? Best job I ever had.
I started saying it after open houses.
No, but it's from a movie. What?
I'm not that smart, dude. I can't.
I think it's like a Matt Damon. One of those. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But like, to get back on track, do you think like the agency is a brand? Obviously, we're biased.
Yeah.
Some of the top artists in the world.
Oh,
they actually do have. Shout out the agency. We have the highest individual earners per. What is it at? It's like out of the 5%, the agency has the most agents
in the industry too. That produce the most. Now, like per agent, the thing is too.
Like Forum, for example, like most people will see that I'm like, oh, it's just like a glorified tequila tasting for adults. They're just showing off, having fun, these expensive dinners, blah blah blah. But how much do you think you learned indirectly or directly from that conference? We call it a conference because it is.
So yeah, it's a great time. It's a great party, but there's also a lot that people probably didn't see, nor do people don't care when they're looking on the outside in of like, you know, you're having all these like special people talk on stage. Maurizio's talking on stage. You're having like economists, just all this stuff that like, it's not as
hanging out with Czar.
And meeting people like that. These are like top producers.
Czar,
globally,
Michigan,
right?
Bailey's, Torkin. Yeah, it's cool.
But they talk to some schmuck like me. You know, sure, I had a really, really big year, but I'm just some new kid. They act like as if you're the same people. You're on the same level.
You know what? Like Paul, that's a very good point. I've never seen a brand or a group of people be so successful, but not try to like belittle you or try to one up you. So how many conversations you have there where people either talk about Rolexes, cars,
never
net
once.
worth? Yeah, not
and
once.
I know what they drive and I know what they wear because I fucking follow them.
You know what's funny? We were probably the ones like, oh, you see his watch? Like we were the weird ones being like, this guy's killing it.
They're just easygoing people. And I think that's why they fit so well in the brand because that's what it is, right?
That's why I think it's such a special brand.
It is. Yeah. And you know what? For a new guy, I think like you played a huge part in this, but for my first year to be a part of something like that and to see it, like you get full access to it. It's like, fuck, man, this is pretty cool. Like it's pretty special coming into work every day. Like we're here, even in like, you're just with the best people. Everyone's on the same page. Everyone's got the same goals, but we're also like, easy to be around. It's fun. But at the end of the day, we fucking sell real estate and we do a good job at it.
Number one.
And then you're seeing people like doing that globally and they're all the same. And it's like, fuck, man, this guy drives this.
Some high achievers.
You know, and he's talking to me as if, you know, we're best buddies. So it's pretty special. Like for guys like Czar, Maurizio takes the time to talk to everyone, like,
which is cool.
Special CEO like that or owner, like that's pretty pretty cool. To
The guy's
be a
all
part of
time.
that.
I don't know how he does it. That guy's got a motor like nobody else.
Oh yeah, he's on fucking stage at 8 a.m. Just got like one of a kind, and you see the work ethic from these people. So the things I took away for sure was just, it's a great place to work, but I think everyone's got the same goals where, we want to be the best, and we are, and we do a good job at
humble
it.
brag, eh? But statistically, the agency, and I wish more people took account of that.
Real estate brand in the world.
In Ottawa, maybe more of a conservative town, so it doesn't get the brand recognition of like a LA or a Vegas, but I wish there was kind of like hockey, it's like a standings.
Yeah, I mean,
I wish more people knew. It's not to just like we sound like assholes right now, but to be honest, like it's number one.
But it's the same thing, man.
It's
if
been
you're
number
not
one.
in it and you don't see it, it's like anything, right? But once you get in it and you're part of it, and now you're in the family, it's like this is pretty unique.
So for you next year, Rookie of the Year is done.
Yeah,
you get it once.
Yep,
it's unbelievable. Like you get it once, and it's the only chance you get the first year, which I could almost argue is the hardest time to try to get an award. But next year, if you don't double that, are you going to be upset, or are you going to kind of just go with, you know what, if I match what it was a bad economy into a good economy, well, it's trended into a better economy, but we'll see what happens with the policies.
I think
and the
too,
rates.
like, I've always had high standards, especially when you're around people that produce a lot now. You have high standards of yourself.
I'm going to ask you, like, do you want to like 2x, 3x, or just like, you know what, you're happy if you do like 10% more?
No. I'm planning on like doing a lot more, double at least, for sure.
Okay.
Right? It's a game plan, right? If you're in this just to kind of sell here and there, sure, have fun, do your thing. Yeah. But I mean, this is my life plan here, being a part of this brokerage and doing really, really well for a long time. It's been my plan for a long time. So yeah, would I be a little upset? For sure. But I mean, that's not going to happen.
No, I love that. Like, do you care about like the accolades? Like,
no, I mean, I did the same thing, even with the big deals I had this year. Like, it's like I'd put it towards just the person I am. Like, I take a couple minutes just to dwell in on, like, just to enjoy it. But it's more, it's never ending.
It's funny. It's like scoring a goal. First of all, I've never scored a goal. I was a goalie, but it's the same kind of mentality as like, once the goal goes in, it's like, okay, what's next? Like, you can, same as we've never celebrated a deal. We've never celebrated anything.
I don't think you should. I think the people that do that, I mean, it's good just to take a couple minutes or day, whatever you want. But Maurizio talked about that too. Like, what's next? It's not like, oh, let's go on vacation. I just did a huge deal, right? It's not and people do that, and it's great. But for me, it's like, there always has to be more. And I would talk to Max about that too. Just like, I don't see like an end. It's just, you got to keep going.
What's the saying? It's like, you're only as good as your last deal. For real estate, it's like you're only as good as your next deal.
Yeah, for sure.
It's almost the opposite, because what you did last night or 6 hours ago, for that matter, no longer applies.
Well, you can do a fucking $2 million deal and that's it. It's like, no one gives a shit.
It doesn't end there. I think the key is it can't end there, right?
People will get excited and they support you, and it's big. But the next day there's new problems and new deals, and you gotta keep going. And like, I think a lot of people get swallowed up in this industry.
So like, you mentioned the word like support.
Yeah.
What's your like takeaway? Kind of a hot topic. I don't know if you want to answer. Like, what's your take on like friends supporting friends, regardless of maybe the income associated to it, the cost of it? Like, let's say like I had like a mechanic shop, and like maybe it wasn't the best mechanic, but you want to support your friend because that's your friend. What's your take on like friends supporting friends
in this industry?
Or
in general?
I'll open up, because I think real estate is a very specific type of support, because the transaction is very hypersensitive. Like, if you mess it up, you get one chance.
It's the biggest asset, right? If you fuck that up,
it's cliche.
Not only are you going to mess up a friendship, you're going to mess up potentially their.
But with that being said, like, if you open up to any sort of business, I think we can both agree we all support people that we can support. But in real estate, you may not see both sides of the coin, right? Like, if I go support, I don't know, friend's a mechanic and he goes buy real estate, it doesn't automatically mean he's going to come with me. It's the only business where I think the term friends supporting friends, people say, oh yeah, I always support my boys or whatever. It's like, it doesn't actually apply that way in the real world. And I actually understand it. I think it's fine, because I have a lot of friends that I don't do business with, and they've bought and sold a lot of real estate, which is totally fine. I don't get sour, you don't get sour, but what's your take on that? Like, when you first came in, I backtracked, but I said, look, you did no deals from your actual sphere of friends. But if you had your sphere of friends plus the business you're doing to be a monster. So I wonder, like, what's your take on?
Well, I look at it like this too, right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, you have friends, like they're never going to feel obligated to, it's an industry where they don't feel obligated to use you. Now you're talking a lot of fucking money, right? And the biggest thing that they're probably going to have in their entire lives, whether it came down from family or it's whatever, it doesn't matter. So I don't look at it as like, in that way. I just kind of look like at the end of the day, it can tarnish a lot of relationships, right?
Big time.
If you are good at your job and you provide what you should provide, sure, they'll work with you. So, that being said, I don't fault anyone for not working with me right off the bat. Sure, I had a huge year, but at the end of the day,
they should.
It's like, I'm new. No matter what, someone's new. They're going to be a little nervous on things. Now, look, you look 5-10 years down the road. I mean, I'm on the right track and I had a big year. It's like, would I get mad then? No.
I think I see it differently because I see the work you do, and I know a lot of your friends. Just put it something like that. It's like I wish a lot of them maybe saw how knowledgeable what you do for people, because I see you, for example, you're doing a deal right now that you're taking care of the other agents' clients because they're overseas, and realistically you should be getting compensated times 2 because you're actually doing both jobs. But you're almost too invested that you're taking care of both parties. But in the end, like I always told you, is our client first. So you indirectly,
for sure, and it always will be.
But your own client doesn't know what you're doing.
No, and I would never tell them. I just kind of want to make sure like they're happy. At the end of the day, fucking real estate.
I just wish
find out
more people saw what I see, and they'd be like, "This guy's a fucking rock star." But I think indirectly too, it's like, how do you build trust? And I think the way you build trust is passively. Like you can't build someone's trust by throwing it down their throat. No, you have to do it.
And I think too, like a big thing is like, no one knows what goes on behind the scenes, right? They see the photos that we put out or some agent puts out, or they see the sales or this and that, and that's all they know. They don't see what goes on behind the scenes and all the shit that you got to deal with. So, I mean, I don't fault anyone for anything. It is what it is.
You never mentioned it. This is, by the way, just me throwing it out there because I'm curious how you handle it, because I've always thought how I thought, and sometimes it's right, sometimes it isn't. But I think the way you build friends, family, anybody you know for that matter, is like passively doing it. So like being honest and transparent, showing that you know what I mean? Like that's the only way you can do it. 'Cause I think
another thing too, everything, it takes a little bit of time. So, I mean, at the end of the day, though, I'm going to be more than fine without friends or family supporting, right? Now, family, like, sure, certain people, I have a lot of family that don't live in Ottawa. But at the end of the day, like, I had a big year with, like, people that I've never really dealt with, right? I have one client that I know.
But it's unbelievable.
So I always knew I would produce that way. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, people are, like, caught up in their own problems and they're not thinking of anything like that. Things just tend to work themselves out, and like everything's working out for me. I'm sure everything's working out for them. I don't fault my friends or anyone. I love them all. So
you saying that like things are working relatively well, rookie of the year, kudos, boom, boom. But what are your takes on like new agents coming in, or maybe even the outside world seeing new realtors come in and thinking, one, they're making a boatload of money, and it's just kind of a kind of like a direct business in the sense that you can put on autopilot and it'll make money. Like, what's your take on it being a true business and not just this like side hustle? Because I don't think
people don't see that. They don't know.
But it is a true business. Like,
it is 100%. But people on the outside, like, they just think it's like whatever, like realtors. They can chill.
Name me a business where you have to do the accounting, the invoice. Like you literally are your own business.
You wear a lot of hats. A lot of hats at all times.
You're a therapist at the time.
The other day I was helping like that guy. I was helping him move his furniture into a fucking house. It's just like you just do shit to make sure people are happy for your clients, right? If they're happy, you win. You did your fucking job. That's it. The money is extra.
And if they don't see the value, you can always pay us by the hour.
Right.
Remember that shit show?
Yeah. That could have went south quick. But I mean, just there's a lot of people a lot of things that people don't see that go on behind the scenes, right? Yeah. If we videoed our entire day, I think we'd get a little more appreciation, right? We're looked at as those people that make a ton of money. It's like, sure. And like Max said, you're compensated when you do a good job. You deserve that commission. Yeah. But they also don't see that your money goes back into the business. Yeah. You're paying for this. You're paying for that.
The fees.
Right.
Like when I started this, I asked you, it was like, were you as cognizant of what the fees associated to selling, to buying, even just the gas bills?
Yeah, you have no clue, right? And I didn't even think of it. Yeah. Maybe people that come into the industry do, but for me, it didn't even really cross my mind. And then it adds stress. It's like, okay, well, you're not making as much money to cover all of these expenses. What are you going to do?
Well, even new agents, like I think a lot of new agents come in and think that it's going to be a walk in the park.
Well, I've had people fucking think that you get paid by the hour, paid this, or you get a salary.
Get paid by the hour, and you
can
get a
salary. Yeah,
but it's not how it works.
You're in the wrong fucking industry if that's your way of looking.
Tell me how you really feel. Yeah,
if you got no money coming in, like there's a reason, and figure it out. Sure, the economy's tough, and in certain times things are hard, but you fucking buckle down and you get the job done. And if you can't, then fucking get another job. That's just how I kind of look at it. Certain people are built for this industry. I think we are. Certain people aren't. Yeah. Period.
If you don't want to mentally, you gotta have it mentally. And
and I struggle with that a lot. Like there's a lot of phone calls where like you talk me off the ledge, this and that. But
I think you just over the years you get used to like
you get thick skin.
But like all your life, right? Like you work 9 to 5 or a part-time job, sharpening skates, like we both used to do. You sharpen 12 pairs of skates and you get paid based off the 12 skates or the hourly wage that you negotiate with your employer. But now you may work 30 hours on one client and at the end of the day, you're not going home with anything.
Yeah, I want to buy in the spring. That just happened. I want to buy in the spring and it's like, sure,
which is fine.
It's great because it's at the end of the day, we want to make sure they're happy and we're doing, whatever's best for them. Yeah. But it's like, nobody's coming to you with a check like, hey, fucking good job. You worked your ass off. Here's 30 hours worth of work. It's like, stay on them, make sure they know who you are and you follow up with them.
Yeah, the appreciation.
For that chance in the future, right?
The appreciation's tough. Like
you don't get fucking appreciation. You do it from the inside. Like our office is sick in that way where like, you got people congratulating you and telling you this and that or keep it up work. And like it's a special place to work. But you step outside of that and like
it changes quick.
Yeah.
But it's a business that truly is one of one. Like I've never seen a business, for example, renovating my house right now for like the 9th time. Yeah. None of those contractors are giving me closing gifts or a gift to, hey man, I just redid your whole place. Thanks for paying me. A little tip. Thank you. Appreciate it. Here's something for you guys.
Yep.
We're the only business that when you do a deal for someone and some of the stuff you've done for people, you're the only type of person that we give gifts on top of giving gifts, which I'm not against it because I appreciate the people we work with. And like sometimes it's a nice little, a little bow tie at the end. It's cool. But I've never seen a business where you have to keep dishing out to dish out just because. But it's a stigma. Like if you don't do it, then like
there's the next guy in line.
I've been at parties where like so-and-so's agent did nothing. And then I hear that and I'm like, okay, buddy. Well,
it's a dog-eat-dog world.
But it is a dog-eat-dog world.
Right. And it's, that's what I like. I like you and
it's kind of the beauty of it too, though. Yeah. You have that competitive edge that I don't think you can find in any other business. So like maybe the guys with like background in sports, like we didn't play no professional sports, but like that little edge of like, there is some competition, like
it for sure, 100%. And like you get that little like those endorphins and that high, like when something happens and someone recognizes that, whether it's a client they buy, they sell, whatever.
Just the highs can't last too long and the lows can't be too. You know what I mean? Like
because it's an industry where you can dwell in your lows, and and a lot of people probably get caught up and they just come out. So. That's why I think I'm very fortunate to jump in with you and have that because we pull each other out of tough times. But we also know like when a big thing happens, it's like, okay, this is huge, but what's next? Let's keep moving. It's a weird industry to try and navigate and figure out. And you're learning new stuff every day.
Yeah, but you did it differently than I think 95% of new agents would do it. I don't know anybody that started off the way you did and like, but I think as far as like sit down, being all professional training, you were more boots on the ground. Like, okay, we're doing this today, sink or swim.
Yeah. I think too, like I had a point to prove too. A lot of people kind of, I wouldn't say they hated it, but like a lot of people dealt you and I'm talking about me. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a chip on my shoulder and I always will. And it benefited me greatly. You have a big
actually
year.
think it's a positive thing.
It is. It's very positive.
If you have something to prove.
Right. I always do that. There's a documentary with Michael Jordan where he talks about that. Like he'd make shit up in his head just to get him going.
Is it The Last Dance?
I may do a little bit of that.
Unbelievable.
And pump stuff up a bit.
Man,
but
that
it works.
That guy, I've never seen the level of, if everybody had a level of competitiveness like that, first of all, we'd have no business.
Yeah.
Fucking everybody be sold by him. Imagine that guy in real estate.
Oh yeah, for sure. But you have to always be that dog and work your ass off and then eventually people just notice it so it does feel good. Yeah, when that stuff happens and
I just wish, like, I know so many good real estate agents and I know a lot of bad ones, but it's like any other business. There's good and the bad. Yeah. I just wish more people saw what some of these agents are doing for their clients. Like, we care about the people we work with, but some people, like other agents outside of our brokers that we know, man, like, rock star people. I wish there was more appreciation because the business does get a bad rap. And like, I'm the first one to admit it. Like, I've seen it. It does deserve a little bit of that negativity because I've seen it, especially during COVID. That was like the Wild West. But like nowadays, it's like there's so many good agents, and like there should be more positive stuff
coming
for realtors.
From it. I think too,
general public, but it promised the money.
Yeah, it cost.
But at the end of the day, like I could argue almost anything is overpriced though.
Yeah, I think too though.
You want to talk government employees, tech employees, like
but I think these agents that do well.
What's the
now
CEO?
They have a platform now too to show that.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's easier. You're on social media, you can see these good agents. The other agents kind of just fall out, right? When like years ago, like you know someone that did well because of their numbers, right? Social helps a lot of people.
You know what's funny? That trend of showing your numbers and how many deals or gross commission you've earned in that year is actually fading away, and I love that.
Well, yeah, fuck. Like
name
I still
business,
like,
name
I don't
a business
tell anyone like what I've done. It's just you and I talk about it. It's like, what the fuck is that? Like, you know,
both the awards we just got, self-plug.
There's no number on it how much I sold.
Exactly. There should never. I don't know why that ever became a thing. And when I see real estate agents on their email signatures literally put, "I have top 10," or it's embarrassing. Yeah. You're literally telling your client that may buy a lower level home at whatever price tag, and you showing up your Maserati or your $200,000 car is a terrible look.
Yeah.
I think you know what? To each their own. If you want to spend your money how you want to spend your money, I shouldn't be able to tell you how to do that. But your email signature and but that's just keep it a little bit classy.
People crave a lot of attention, and it's an industry that you can do well in and get that. So they want to flaunt it. That being said, I mean, I talk to you guys about the numbers and the people I'm close with, sure. And like from the outside, people probably be like, you should be bragging about that. I was never brought up that way. For instance, the same thing. Bruce had a great year. He had to fucking calculate what he did because he just know you did well, and that's
Shout out to Bruce.
And I think that's why like the good people stick around, that's right? Fair. The people that are just the number guys, sure, they're going to be around, but like no one gives a shit.
Overall, though, man, like
if you're a good guy to work with and your numbers will, like the people will know. They know that you've done well. You don't have to tell people.
I think overall, though, just like we're just rambling right now, just kind of shooting the shit. But like overall, great year. A lot of lessons learned. And I sometimes like the shitty things that happen, I always say it's paid tuition.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Everything you've done that you're like, shit, this was maybe not the best idea, or like this really sucked for that 2-week window, whatever the hell we're going through. You look back, you're like, what you learned in that little segment is going to last you a career. So it's kind of like paid tuition.
Yeah.
Which helps. But that being said, 2023, great year. We had fun. Some ups and downs. Not more.
Yeah. There
were some challenging times, but like I think that's with any business. But going to 2024, what would be like your outlook? Like what would be considered like a good real estate year? You can even mention just like buying and selling. Like, do you think we can take it out our careers, but like, do you think next year will be an easier year as far as buying and selling for people and us as a career?
Here's how I look at things. Sure, the economy and certain things are tough and it makes things harder. The people that survive and do well is because they fucking put their work in. That's it. There's always people selling and always people buying. Sure, there's a little less in times, holidays or the economy, whatever. But if you want to get deals done, you get in front of people, period. That's it. So I don't see any issues with us having a big year, whether it's double, triple. Yeah. I know we're going to do it because we do our job, right?
Yeah. True.
The other side, I think like I think that will happen. I think calling 2024 a win will be if we learn a lot more. We build the team a lot more. The numbers will come when they come. I'm not worried about that. I think it's just learning more, having, for instance, for the podcast, having proper people on to allow, our listeners to listen and understand whether it's
even
mortgages,
us, like,
real estate.
We enjoy doing this. Like it doesn't feel, we could be here for 2 hours.
Oh, for sure. And I know we're just rambling, but I think it will be a success if we show up every day and we're happy and we work hard and, we enjoy the wins a little bit and we try not to dwell on the losses and you move forward and you grow a bit. And to top 2023 would be special. It was my first year in the industry.
What's going to happen?
I got close with some of the best people in the world. I found a place that I can call home. Yep. And I made some of the best friendships ever when it comes to like working with, I know I'm name dropping a lot, but you, Max, Irina, Bruce, everyone.
You see it career-wise, won't be a joke. What do you think for like your average listener who either wants to buy or sell? Do you think 2024 is going to be like this?
I think rates should cool a bit, right?
So you think it's very much like rate
It's
driven?
going to be hard, like in the forum, like I forget the guy's name, the economist that came.
Oh,
out.
he was unbelievable.
He was lights out.
That guy.
Killed it.
Oh, I wish I had his name. That guy was unbelievable.
Yeah, that's why why I like this brand too. They didn't bullshit. It's going to be a hard year. It is, right? But they said let's keep grinding.
It was tough.
It's like I like that. We're in it together. Yeah. That's it, right?
So you think it's gonna be rate driven, kind of like this year? It's like economy's tight.
I think things are cool.
Things
right?
are cool.
Prices should kind of come up a bit with that.
So we have these chats. We have these chats. I want to say like daily. Yeah. Like people are like, can you time the market? And you hear the cliche like you can't time the market.
I used to think that before.
I think you may be able to time Ottawa's market in the next year and a half. Prime example myself. I want to sell to upgrade to that bigger product that I maybe couldn't afford during COVID 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
If you can somehow buy the next 6-8 months and still maintain your asset and sell in a year and a half, I think you're going to get that window.
Yeah, for sure.
But, like, do you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I think Chris said like he saw sub 5%. So now they're saying that with the US election coming next year, you may see 3 rate decreases. And that's what the Fed said on the States. So if they're coming like that, we usually follow suit. And then
we follow with the States, right?
But then the year after that, we have our own election. So it's kind of telling me, I was like, you can't time the market, but you can come pretty damn close to it.
There's a lot of things
next like 16 months. And like, I could be full of shit. Like, I don't know, guys. There's no crystal ball here. But if you look statistically with what happens US election time and then what happens during the Canadian election, rates cool off. Politicians need those votes. Real estate kind of hovers, and then the rates come down, and they kind of go look at it. My dad's the one who got me onto it, and I was looking at him. And I was like,
"Your dad's been in that. For
the old guy's not full of shit." But I don't know. Could be foreign policy or whatever they do with that. We'll see what happens. But like that good old carbon tax. Like, what's your take on that? What's going to happen?
Canadians more than it does good for them. You?
It's a good answer. It's tough. I think like I agree with you in the sense that it does more harm than good for Canadians, but I just don't know why Canadians have that burden of paying or having that carbon neutral tag. I understand it and I think it's important, but if you look at like I don't want to throw it to things get censored, but look, China, for example, it's got billions of people. They're building at a rapid, I think it's over 250 coal plants that they just built in the past 6 months. 250 coal plants, as far as like a carbon footprint, is astronomically worse than what we're doing. And companies like India, is like the population's so big that they have no choice to go those routes. So I don't disagree with them. But why does Canada have to take that charge and be like, oh, we're going to charge all our citizens a carbon tax times 3 on their gas bill when our damn country's frozen for 6 months of the year? It's a basic necessity to live, and they're taxing it. I will say it's genius. You have to pay your gas bill. You have to pay your heating bill. However that is in different provinces is different. So I will say it's smart, but it's evil at the same time. The US don't have a carbon tax. They blow way more than we do. Why does Canada have that burden? I don't know, but I think it's stupid. And they need to figure that out because some people, like I'll show you my gas bill for what it was, I don't know, let's say 2019 or 2020.
Compared to now.
And what I pay now, it's insane. It's $50, $60 every single month. But then like people need that
extra money
to heat their homes. What makes it even more frustrated, so I'm going on a tangent here, is like Atlantic Canada gets a little okay, we won't tax Atlantic Canada on certain heating, whatever.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. So they're not going to tax oil up north. But it's like most of the homes aren't heated by oil, and oil is the most expensive way. So it's just to buy votes. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. But I just don't know why Canadians have that burden of paying the carbon tax when the whole world isn't paying attention to it. So why do we? Yeah, you want to be a pioneer in it.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for you.
It's just frustrating. Like, we went off topic, and we got to wrap this up. I just don't understand some of the policies coming forward, especially how high taxes are in Canada, what we pay for grocery bills.
Oh yeah.
There's monopolies everywhere. Groceries, cell phones. Like, something has to change, and I think in the next 2 years you'll see a lot of change, and hopefully for the better. But hey, I wouldn't want that job. And is it above my comprehension of what the economics are? Yes. Yeah. And that's why I wish that guy we saw at the forum, the UK guy, I wish everybody could see a 10-minute snippet.
I should have taken a video.
He was so, what was his name? Michael something.
Not
Try to
Michael
plug it on
Walker.
the screen.
Not Michael Walker. That's
No,
for sure.
no. But no, it's crazy to see all like the ups and downs throughout the years.
It was cool the way he did it too, and you know he had a good way of presenting that information.
Yeah.
You know, you'd think like an
He
economist
dumbed it down.
He did, and you think like normally it's boring information, but the way he presented it and the way he brought things to light, it's like fuck.
I know.
I actually learned something, and I'm not the brightest guy in the world.
Yeah, but it's what you use the information for right?
Sure.
Like that guy just made it a little more basic for us, but
Yeah.
it made perfect sense. And everything I just kind of went off on, to be honest, is a spin off of what he was introducing to us.
Yeah.
So I'll have to say, like, you never know, but I do agree with you. I think 2024 till 2025, 2026, you should see a lot of things stabilize. And I think for realtors, for developers, everything that follows suit, I think it's going to be good.
Yeah. I think it'll be good.
Should we wrap it up? Do you have any closing remarks as far as...
Yeah.
That's the year, man.
I mean, I joke around, I do all this and that, but at the end of the day, this was a great year. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah. Appreciate you.
You know, I appreciate everything you did for me. We have a lot more to come, a lot more years ahead.
We like a little sports net thing. Like,
yeah,
like a TSN turning point on what would happen here, but I appreciate it.
I think too, just everyone at the office, everyone that, you know, all my clients that helped out. I mean, there wasn't millions of them on first year, but they trusted and they'll be around for a long time. Most importantly, I think Max, Irina, everything they've done for me, you know, they took me in with open arms. They cared for me. They checked on me. They supported me. And at the end of the day, like I know I can,
That's
you know,
beautiful.
I'm tough to deal with sometimes. My ADD's all over the place, but they were always there to take my call, always there to support me. And they're some of the fucking best people in the world. And
Agreed.
And I'm very lucky to be here. So thank you guys.
Leave it like this. I've always told you this, but it's a tag I've always used is just trust the process.
That's it for sure.
You can't.
Yeah. And at the end of the year, I'll tell you this for sure. I trust it. Big time. You have to. You know, you learn a lot. You go ups and downs, but I think I have a better understanding.
No, this is fun.
How it works.
I think
good.
we could go. I think we're at 41 minutes here, my man. So we're getting there. But I think we could do this for 2 hours.
Yeah, maybe we'll
do it
start
again
2024 off
every
with one.
6 months. Maybe we'll do like a follow
follow-up.
up and just see how things are trending.
Yeah, I like that.
Market too. See what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for tuning in,
Thanks, guys.
See you in 6 months.
Ciao.